Welcome to episode one of the Five Lights F1 podcast. This is our very first episode here, fresh off of Baku, where the championship race really just took a big swing going into Singapore. This is getting really interesting is McLaren had a pretty rough week. We're just going to get straight into it. McLaren had a pretty rough week. Oscar Piastri goes down in qualifying.
Yep.
Oscar Piastri goes down in the race. Lando had a massive chance to capitalize and really what he would he be taking the lead here? He would be taking the
No.
lead.
So it would have been like, I think if he won, it would have been about 6 points.
Okay, so yeah, I mean
Yeah.
Lando had a big opportunity here. I mean, we've seen this last year with Lando. He when he had an opportunity, he kind of just he could never capitalize on it. We saw
Yeah.
it last year and I forget which race it was, but
It was
there was a few
Brazil.
opportunities. Was it Brazil? Okay,
Yeah,
so
it
he
was
had a few
Brazil.
opportunities last year and he couldn't capitalize. Does do we think that we're just gonna do we think Lando is really built for a is he really a championship driver? I mean, it seems like he keeps getting these opportunities, and every time he gets the opportunity, it just either doesn't go his way or he just finds a way to make it not work for himself. Do we is Lando really a championship driver? Like
I mean,
what do we
for
think?
me, it's just like Lando, like he's a great driver, but it's just, I think he's in over his head. Like he was thinking, oh, this is my shot for a championship coming into Australia. It started off great, and then Piastri knocked off 3 wins in a row. And to me, it's just like I feel like Lando needs to go on like I wouldn't say like a sabbatical or whatnot. I would say like he just needs to get his head in the game. It's like his head is not fully into the championship battle right now, and Piastri minus this week is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's kind of how it seemed last year a little bit. It's like earlier on in the season, it gets kind of the point. There's a wider gap in the points, and it seems like Lando is just when the points are more wide, it just he seems like it's already over when
Mhm.
there's really still a chance for him. And I mean, yeah, well, like I said, when he gets these opportunities, he has to capitalize on them if he ever wants to win a drivers' championship. I mean, the full expectation going into this year, coming off of last year, was this is Lando's title to lose.
Yep.
And then we see McLaren and Oscar Piastri come in, and he's a better McLaren driver. Maybe it's
Mhm.
the car. I don't think it's the car because Lando's had the faster car, I'd say, in the last two races, and he just couldn't make it work.
I mean, with Piastri, it's just like he's so cool, calm, and collective. Like he doesn't let little things get to
Absolutely.
him. It was like I think this was like the first time you seen or Oscar crack under pressure. It was like obviously he won the F3 title, the F2 title. Now he's looking to go on to the F1 title, and like you never saw him crack under pressure. Of course, I would have to like rewatch like a good bit of the stuff to see what happened. But it was like you rarely see Oscar make mistakes, and with this mistake happening, Lando had the best chance, but it's like he couldn't capitalize on it. And that was my next question: Is has Red Bull figured it out finally, or is this McLaren like been in a slump with their car, or is it just like they'll bounce back at Singapore, or is it can Max reel them in? Like it's 69 points right now.
Yeah, I mean, Max Max gets pole this in Baku. Max
Yes.
also wins the Grand Prix,
Yep.
and that sets him up right there. He's right back in the race for the title. I think I do think that McLaren's in a little bit of a slump, in my opinion.
Hmm.
I do think that. As we were just talking about before we started this, Max, he's had his struggles in Singapore, and that's obviously next on the schedule. Max has had his struggles in Singapore. You say he's gotten one pole there, no wins, if I'm
Yeah,
correct.
no wins. He may have a pole. I'm not sure, but I know he got a podium last year. I think that was his
Okay.
first podium there. It was like the 2023
Yes.
year where he had the dominant car. Red Bull won every race bar one, and that was the race that Carlos Sainz won, and that being at Singapore. And I think he finished fifth that race.
Yes. So I mean, he's obviously had struggles at Singapore. I expect this to be a big bounce back spot for McLaren. And what's interesting to me is being that I think Lando's had the quicker car the past 2 weeks.
Hmm.
If he has the quicker car in Singapore, does does he make this a tighter battle? Even though they'll most likely both get pole or not pole, they'll most likely most both get podium. I can't even talk right now. I see a double podium McLaren for next week or week after next, whenever it is. Um, so yeah, that's really interesting to see how the championship race is after this, because I do expect it to be a big bounce back spot for McLaren.
Yeah,
I
me
think they've been
too.
too good all year to just completely fall off at the end.
Here's my
It's
thing with Singapore coming up. Is Lando gonna make a mistake? It's like
That's
we've
what I
seen
was thinking.
we've seen like, oh, he has chances and he'll just mess it up. Saudi
Hmm.
Arabia, he wrecked out in qualifying, and Jeddah. Is that also going to happen? You can't pass. Azerbaijan or Baku City Circuit is one of the few street circuits outside of Canada that you could actually overtake, and you have a good chance for overtake. Singapore is not like that. Singapore is like Monaco.
Yeah,
Singapore is like Hungary. You can't. It's harder to overtake there. And if Lando messes it up in the qualifying lap, how is he going to bounce back at it? Like he's going to
yeah. I
have a
mean,
hell of a strategy if
yeah. This
that
is a
happens.
the qualifying is really going to be a big telltale moment for McLaren and really Oscar and Lando and even Max. To be honest, I mean, if Max could really figure it out and get get a win or a pole somehow in Singapore, this championship race is very interesting. And like I said at one point, I was thinking it was over. I was thinking it was all Oscar. I
Hmm.
didn't even think Lando had a chance. I think a lot of people kind of wrote it off as Oscar was kind of running away with this title. And of course, Max and the Red Bull, just as you think they're having a down year, he comes right back into it and he's right here. He's right here in third, just a few points off pretty much.
I think I,
Um,
s-
if
I
Max
think
really
I think I saw a
go ahead.
stat that says. Sorry for jumping in on me. I think I saw a stat that even though he has like the lower like out of the McLaren and the Mercedes, he still has the most poles out of the year. That's four poles,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
that is
still
actually a lot
crazy
of
to think
poles.
about.
Yeah, I guess McLaren's just had the better race pace all year
I mean,
because
yeah,
I just still think I still think Max is the best driver on the grid so far, and I
yeah, well,
absolutely
sure.
don't think the Red Bull has the best car on the grid. So Max is really he's pushing the car to the limits and he's getting the most out of it that he possibly could. I
Hmm.
think if you put anybody else in this Red Bull seat right now that Max is in, I don't think that they're not even doing close to what he's doing. Even if we're talking about like Lewis or any of the people that really just anybody on the grid. I think
Yeah.
he's really getting as much as he can out of this car because I don't think it's that great of a car. But Yuki did finish he finished P6 this year or no
Yep.
or this week? No?
Yep. P6.
P6?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
so
was.
Yuki gets P6. That was his best finish of the year.
I was
But
thinking. Well, obviously I know that Lando was like close to them. If they did this, Lando would probably get past. But I was thinking they were going to do team orders and have Lawson and Sonoda swap to get Red Bull more points. But I'm shocked that they didn't go around. Obviously, no one's talking about that because no one thought that that was a good idea. That was just my thing. But basically, Lando and Lawson just played gunner. They were just protecting Max and trying to get him to get the most amount of points and just trying to prevent Lando from getting ahead. I mean, and it's hard to pass still, even with that long straight. I mean, they were in a DRS stream for what felt like at least a quarter of the race with
mhm.
like after you got past Max and George.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, I mean George also had a pretty good race. I don't know if you heard it, but during the qualifying sessions, obviously he was sick for second practice.
mhm.
I think it was. he was sick and didn't drive. He sounded sick on the radio when they put him on for qualifying his little radio talk.
Mhm.
He sounded bad. I don't know how he even got through this race because he did not sound good. I don't think he should have been out there. But I mean, he comes through for the Mercedes and he finishes. What did he finish?
He's
What
finished
did George
P2.
finish? George finished second, P2. Yeah. So George takes it from where did he start? Let me pull this up. I forget where he qualified. He qualified P5, takes the
Yes.
Mercedes to P2. Carlos Sainz also on the podium. They say Baku expect the unexpected, and we kind of got that when you have Carlos Sainz on the podium in a Williams. I did not expect that at all going into this weekend.
Yeah, it's
I don't think
just
anybody really did.
I mean, it was just like they got lucky with the qualifying. I mean, they
Yeah,
set the first lap before what was it, like three more red flags came out in that
yeah,
session after like a 2 hour qualifying session, six red flags. They were the only ones to set a lap was him and I think the two racing bulls. Um,
yeah,
and it started raining, but Max put in a hell of a lap to snatch pole, and I mean, he was just like, hopefully we could keep it into a podium, and that's what they got. Um,
yeah. I
Carlos'
mean,
first
we've seen
podium with
this
Williams,
so much from Max.
matching Alan Prost as the only person to get a podium for Ferrari, Williams, and McLaren.
Yeah, I mean, this also brings up a lot of questions. I know, like we did talk about, it was kind of a luckier situation for Williams and Carlos, but
Hmm.
is Carlo if Carlos was in this Ferrari that Lewis is in right now, is he the better driver right now? Is he the better driver at this point in their careers?
I
Because
think,
Lewis he has been off. I don't know if it's a
yeah,
car, I don't know if it's Lewis, but I mean, Lewis has not looked he's not looked good this season.
no, he
I
hasn't.
know
I
part of the
mean,
blame is the car, but you also have to put some blame on him, I would think.
like the only thing he's done notable is won the sprint in China. That was it.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was like his
I mean,
only podium of the year was winning that sprint race in
yeah.
China.
I mean, I love the sprint races. I watch them all. I love them. I think it's awesome, but I don't take too much from the sprint. I know it does get
Hmm.
points and everything, but I mean, we saw Kimi Antonelli win a sprint in Miami. So I mean, you can win sprints easier than you can win a Grand Prix,
Yeah,
obviously, but yeah, I mean, that is really the only notable thing that Lewis has done. Outside of that, nothing new. Ferrari's been very disappointing.
yeah.
Charles Leclerc got he got pole the last four Baku races. He was looking good in qualifying, and then he
It
just
became stupid.
can't close it out. Can't close
It's
it out again. But
uh,
typical Ferrari. I'm used to it at this point.
mhm.
Maybe maybe next year. I don't know. Maybe year or two with Lewis. I know there was some rumors swirling around about Oscar joining Ferrari in 27, 28.
Mhm.
I don't see that happening. I think that's just kind of a lot of smoke screens going around.
Yeah,
Because why? I mean, honestly, why would Oscar leave McLaren right now? Because McLaren's looking like the top dogs on the grid. But I also did want to mention we saw Mercedes last year. At the end of the year, they had this big spark. I mean, George Russell wins in Vegas, and they had a few other wins. Are we gonna see the spark from Mercedes again this year? Because they've been looking better. They usually get a little spark at the end of the year. If it's anything similar to last year, I still think they might have one of the quicker cars in Vegas when we get to that.
yeah,
Obviously they're pretty much out of the constructors title. Realistically, they're not getting the
yeah,
drivers title, but
yeah. Pretty much.
I mean, just in terms of cars on the grid, I think Mercedes might catch one of these little hot streaks again at the end. So
Well,
I'm really curious to that.
another thing with like Mercedes is like all the other teams are probably like you're coming off of the development of the new car. They're starting to do that, and I feel like Mercedes is just doing what Red Bull used to do, and they would just update the car all the way to the end of the race, which probably cost
Yeah,
them
I
the
mean that's what we
2014
saw
season.
last year.
And
Hmm.
I think that's what Mercedes is doing. They're just trying to get the best out of the car that they have. And from what I've heard, Mercedes is going to be the team to beat next year. I think they said that Mercedes is going to have the jump on the 2026 regulations like they did with the 2014 regulations. So we'll see. I don't know if any of the other teams have started. I know Alpine, I think I heard that they've stopped developing their car and they're focusing on next year's car, but I don't know if any of
Yeah.
the other teams. But expect definitely Vegas. I think this would be a chance to get Kimmy's first win is Vegas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would love to see that. I would love to see that, honestly. Um, I'm super intrigued about Vegas this year, but I mean, obviously, we'll cover Vegas as we get closer for
Mm,
anybody listening. But yeah, Vegas is gonna be good this year, and don't be shocked if Mercedes really goes on a run here at the end.
for
But
sure.
if we're talking about the 2026 Mercedes car, that was actually my early prediction. I think we talked about this a few weeks ago when we were talking about Kimmy and Vegas and George in Vegas, pretty much just Mercedes in Vegas. I think George Russell he's going to be a threat, especially next year. I think he could see he's I think George Russell has all that it takes to win a drivers championship,
For
and
sure.
I would like to see it. I would like to see it. I know a lot of people don't like George, and I'm not really sure why because I like George. I like George a lot. So I think a George Russell um drivers championship next year could be really interesting.
Yeah, I think
Um,
so too. For me, I like Russell. I like George. The only thing I really don't like about George was the way he was acting towards Max towards the end of the year last year.
yeah,
But
yeah, but
that's just bickering between drivers, and it's all
yeah,
right. I mean, I like him as a driver. I like him at Mercedes. I always thought that once he like obviously everyone thought as soon as he got out of that Williams car, he was going to go to Mercedes and just be great. And hasn't performed to the expectations per se, but he's definitely getting there. And I think 2026 will definitely be a good year for Mercedes next for that
yeah,
car
one
and
hundred
as
percent,
well as regulations.
100%. And as of right now, I believe Kimmy is still unsigned. I know Toto does want to bring Kimmy back, and it's pretty much. I mean, Kimmy's most likely going to be back in the Mercedes, but if
Mhm.
they're really expected to have this championship contending car next year, is it smarter to go out and try and pry away a veteran like Carlos Sainz? I know there was some rumors going around about that, about them buying out and signing Carlos Sainz. There was rumors about that last year as well. Or do they want to stick with their young guy Kimmy and see what he could do with a better car?
Well,
I
here's the
think Kimmy
thing.
has the potential. He's just so young. He's so young.
Yeah, he does. Obviously, Toto wants Kimmy, but
Hmm.
I think he has his heart set on getting Max eventually before he
Yeah,
retires
yeah,
because
yeah.
I don't think Max is going to stay in Formula One for too much longer. I think
No, I think
he's
he's on a
just,
shorter leash. Yeah.
yeah, like I mean, he's already a 5-time world champion. He's two more championships away from tying Schumacher and Lewis.
Hmm.
And I think he's going to go off to endurance racing soon, go after Le Mans, drive for Aston Martin or whatnot. But it's just, I think, this is a wild saying, but I think they'll probably loan Kimi Antonelli to Alpine and
That's
then
what I was thinking.
trying to get Max. I don't see. I think there will be a 1 year deal with Max and George, and that's probably going to be a toxic relationship as to Nico and Lewis. And I think eventually Kimmy and Max will be the driver pairing, like in 2028 or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I know there were lots of there's still rumors circulating. Carlos and Mercedes has been kind of rumored for the past 4 or 5 years.
Hmm.
So that wouldn't shock me. But I do know that they've been heavily trying to get Max. There was a lot of rumors about Max even meeting up with Toto, flying his private jet over to Toto and having private meetings with him and stuff. I don't know how much is true. I don't know how much of that is truth and how much is just smoke screens just to create a new rumor mill, but yeah, I mean it's interesting, but I do kind of expect Kimmy to be back. I don't really see any crazy blockbuster moves happening. I think that Mercedes and Toto really trust Kimmy. I don't think Max is going to leave Red Bull quite yet unless something drastically crazy happens towards the end of this year.
嗯
But one thing that I am interested in, is the V carb spot. We have one more spot in V carb, and it is between Yuki and Liam Lawson. This little stretch that Liam Lawson is on, is he saving his seat for next year? Because at one point it was looking like he was gone. A lot of
Yeah.
people already wrote him off, and he's really finishing strong. I mean, he got almost he was very close to getting podium. He
Hey,
qualified top three, qualified second row. He was very close to getting a podium this week, and he's in a V carb. He's in a V carb. So
I mean,
I
here's the
know it
thing.
didn't work out in Red Bull, but I think it's kind of been shown that first Red Bull is not the best car on the grid. They're not that great of a car. I think Max, like we talked about, Max is just that great of a driver. Um, I do think the V carb spot's a little better, and even Yuki's struggling. And I think Yuki's a good driver, but
I mean, it's just the
anyway,
way Max drive is. Checo was the only one who could get close to Max, and then also Ricardo, but that was before they started making the car for Max. But here's the thing: Red Bull is not the team that you want to be in Formula One. You do not want to be at Red Bull. It's where careers go to die. I don't see how they keep getting junior drivers. I mean, it's great to have that Red Bull sponsorship, that Red Bull backing, but as soon as you get into that RB, they're going to throw you through the ringer, and you're just the next person to be the serve for Max Verstappen. And everyone struggles against Max with the way he drives. Yuki, Pierre Gasly, um, Checo, obviously, Liam, for the two races he was there. It's just a place that you don't want to be. Personally, as much as I hate to say this, I think they'll put Isaac Hajar at the Red Bull
yeah,
seat and they'll keep Yuki and Liam at Red Bull or RB. Sorry.
yeah. I still think Arvid Lindblad will be taking the V carb spot. I think he'll take one of the V carb spots. So I think it kind of is down to Liam and Yuki. They're kind of choosing one or the other. Right now, it looks like Liam might be in the lead for that spot.
Mhm.
Um,
It's
also
here's
another.
another thing. You got Aston Martin coming back to form or Aston Martin Honda coming back to Formula One with
Mhm.
Aston Martin next year. Got to think Yuki may be in a spot for if Fernando retires. I mean, obviously Stroll is going to be there till he wants to leave Formula One.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah,
But you got to think
nothing
Yuki may
spurring
be in
those
a running
bridges.
for that Aston Martin spot next year if he can get out of his Red Bull contract.
Yeah, I mean, there was even rumors earlier in this year that Max would be considering that Aston Martin spot. I don't know how much that's still in play,
I
but
think that's the main. I think if he doesn't go to Mercedes, he's going to end up at Aston Martin because they got Adrian Newey. I mean,
yeah,
anyone who could drive for an Adrian Newey designed car is great. And I was like, he's won multiple championships, so why not if he can't get it there? That's
yeah,
why Fernando stayed was to see if he could get one more last good season with Adrian Newey coming in to Aston Martin for 2026. See what he can't design.
yeah. I mean, I saw a rumor earlier actually about Fernando Alonso doing a little interview and kind of hinted at retirement. I mean, we know it's coming. We know it's coming. He's the oldest guy on the grid.
Yep.
Um, so I mean, yeah, it's coming, and they will
Make it
likely
over.
get a pretty good driver to take that seat, especially being Adrian Newey's there and Honda and all those connections. But uh, yeah, anyways, Hadjar and if we go back to the Red Bull, Hadjar and Red Bull, that scares me because I think Isaac Hadjar is a very, very, very good driver. He's
Mhm.
impressed me. He's majorly impressed me this season. I just don't want his career to go and die at Red Bull. That scares me. I know he was even kind of hesitant earlier in the year when there was some rumors going around about him possibly being promoted after Liam got booted down to V Carb. There was some rumors going around about Hadjar being his replacement, like straight off the rip. That I
That would
think
have.
he said that he would rather not do that,
Yeah.
and but he's most likely going to be in that seat next year, so
Mhm.
it's going to be a test for him, and we're really going to see. But I think he's also a championship caliber driver in the right car. He's still super young, obviously. He's not very experienced, but he's been very impressive in the V carb this year. But I also do think that the V carb car is a little bit better than what we think. Being that Liam Lawson's actually doing very solid in it.
I think they could be in like a solid point store if they had like more than just Red Bull Juniors in their car. Like
Yeah.
if you put like maybe a Pierre Gasly, I mean obviously he doesn't want to go back to Red Bull because of all what happened, but if you had Pierre Gasly, he'd be like a consistent point scorer. Maybe even
Hmm.
Esteban Ocon.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean the end of this season, the championship race is really starting to spark. Especially as we see McLaren struggle. And Red Bull is starting to emerge, and Max Verstappen is right back in the race, just as we counted him out,
I
or just
think
as a lot of the general public counted him
so.
out.
We're coming up to the United States Grand Prix and the Mexico Grand Prix and Brazil. Though Mexico for sure has Red Bull's best interest. They've always been pretty good at Mexico because for some reason the higher elevation just suits their car or their engine better than most. And I think Brazil. So coming into Vegas, if Max could survive Singapore and like he gets luck to go his way, McLaren's collide at say Singapore, what for whatnot, and maybe they don't score good in Mexico. I think going into Vegas, it could be close. But if I mean, obviously, if McLaren get their act together and they just start dominating some races, I think the championship will be locked up by Brazil.
Yeah, I mean, I do think
Well,
McLaren will collide again. Honestly, I think they will. We've seen it a few times already. If Max can survive going into Vegas, McLaren typically struggles in Vegas. I mean, we thought Lando was going to win last year in Vegas, as that championship race was really getting heated up with Max and Lando, and McLaren just completely underperformed in that, and Mercedes really outshined everyone last year. So McLaren does typically struggle in Vegas. So if Max could stay alive up until around there, there's a real chance that this thing's not even over. This thing is not even close to over. But I mean, we've
uh,
seen it several times. If Max really does somehow take this Red Bull car to a championship or even close, I mean, he's close right now, but I mean, I think there's no question he's probably the best driver of all time.
yeah. It's like
Maybe that's crazy.
circuit to win. Fernando was bringing them like dumpster fires of Ferraris to championship battles going into Abu
Yeah,
Dhabi.
yeah. I
For
mean, I think. Go ahead.
I completely lost what I was gonna say.
No, you're good. But yeah, I think a lot of people are gonna hate when I say that, but I think there's no question. You have to consider this guy as one of the best of all time. I
Yeah,
know
for
people are
sure.
still gonna say Lewis, people are still gonna say Schumacher. I have personally, I mean, I wasn't around for some of those. I wasn't even around for Lewis's prime. I'll be honest, but I've never seen a better driver than Max. I've never seen a better driver than Max Verstappen. Just as we write him off, or just the general public writes him off, he comes through and makes it a battle just again. It's like a never-ending roller coaster for him.
Yeah, as for me, I personally think, and me being a Max fan, I mean, I'm gonna say, oh, I'm being realist here. I think he'll finish second if he's able to pull off this comeback. I don't think he can. Piastri.
I don't
I
think so
think too
either.
much. Piastri has too much of a buffer. I mean, it would be amazing. Like it would make this season a lot more interesting because, to be honest, it hasn't been that much fun. I mean, outside of
Yeah,
the
it really
Hulken,
hasn't.
outside of the Hulkenberg podium and then the Petcher podium, what interesting thing has come out of these races? Pretty much nothing. But I think he'll finish second. I don't think he'll catch Piastri.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much just been the McLarens dominating every single week. So yeah, not really much going on. I know I do. I really do hope for. I think every F1 fan is really hoping for a tight race.
Hmm.
Right now, it's looking. If Lando could really find a rhythm, it's looking like it could be a three-man race for the drivers' championship going into the final few races if everything goes to plan as a from a fan perspective. But obviously, it won't. I mean, McLaren's probably just going to pull away again, and Oscar's going to lock this thing up here pretty soon.
And
But
that's
I mean, I'd love to see a battle going towards the last few races of the season, especially going into Vegas and Qatar and Abu Dhabi.
well, here's the thing. It was just like 2010, was it, when Vettel won the championship? It was because
Mhm.
Fernando Alonso was kept around Vitaly Petrov in the Renault because you're not able to pass. That's the only bad thing about this. Like I know the people in Abu Dhabi pay a whole bunch, a lot of money to have the final race, but we need to move the finale back to Brazil. Yeah, have it in Interlagos. Move Abu Dhabi to where Vegas is, and then just have a triple header with Vegas, Mexico, and Dakota, and then just end it at Abu Dhabi, or end it with Qatar, Abu Dhabi, and then have a week off and then go to Brazil at the end of the championship. That would be so much better. But
Yeah,
money talks, bullshit walks.
yeah. I mean, the Saudi money is always gonna it's
Yeah,
always gonna pay the bills. So I
that
mean, we're
Middle
seeing
Eastern
that in
oil
pretty much
money.
every sport. Yeah, I mean, they just paid Tom Brady like $50 million or something to go do a flag football game in Saudi.
Oh God.
So yeah, yeah. Look into that. Look into that. That came out last Monday Night Football for any football fans. Yeah, Tom Brady. Tom Brady's coming out of retirement to play flag football in Saudi for $50 million. I think it's just one game. So yeah, that kind of explains why the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix is the last on the schedule every year as of late. Because the Saudi money really screams to everyone, and I mean honestly, why wouldn't you take it if the
Yeah.
Saudis are really paying this much? So, but yeah, I know we didn't really discuss much about this race because I mean, although it seems like there was a lot to talk about, there really wasn't.
Nope, not at all. I
Other
mean,
than the championship battle getting spiced up. But
it's
go
just
ahead, anything?
it's just like it was. I'm gonna say this. Like I watch people say, like I got. Here's my thing: a mid-race battle or a midfield battle does not make a race good. I don't care how much passing you got in the midfield. If the battle for up front is boring, it's not a good race. And I can't look at an F1
Yeah,
race see, um, oh, we had 100 overtakes during the midfield, but we only had one pass for the lead, and that was on the first lap, and that was because he caught a slipstream, and then he went off and finished 15 seconds ahead of everybody. And oh, but we have a good midfield, but that just doesn't make a good race. So if I say that, probably say the race was 5 out of 10. I was like, it definitely kept me asleep or kept me up for the first couple of laps, but after it settled down, it was just a dominant max win, grand slam. So I'd say 5 out of 10 for this race.
yeah. I'd give it like a 6, 6.5. I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, but I also got up, so I kind of sometimes force myself to enjoy it because our time
Yeah,
zones are so crazy. I got up at 6 a.m. to watch it, even though the race was 7. But
I will
yeah,
say
I mean, I think it
this:
was okay.
if you want to
But
listen to the Formula One race, and you don't like David Croft, get SiriusXM. Not obviously not sponsored, but get SiriusXM. They play the BBC broadcast, and it normally has Harry Benjamin, who called the race for Sky Sports. But that is a great commentary team to listen to. Is the BBC Radio Formula One broadcast?
yeah, not sponsored, but definitely
Obviously.
open to sponsors if
Yeah, if
SiriusXM is
SiriusXM wants
listening to this.
to, like,
But
if you want to listen to this, come and put us on your radio platforms.
let's do it. Let's do it. We're down to work. We're down. We're only on episode 1, but we're down to work
Yeah, we
always.
are.
So yeah, any sponsors? Any sponsors? We're here. We're always open,
Yep.
and we're not gonna be sellouts. We're not gonna take these stupid sponsors and just do nothing but be a big newspaper ad. But anyways, we'll see how Singapore goes. We'll have some more pre-race and post-race coverage, going more into depth on the race since we didn't really go too much in depth on the race here.
Yeah.
But anyways, that'll do it for episode 1. We will be back next week. We'll just find a fun topic to talk about. So stay tuned for that. We have episode 2 of Five Lights Podcast. If well, odds are you're new here because, like I said, this is
Yes.
episode one.
Yeah.
So, like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, whatever you're listening to. If you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leave a review, share with your friends, anything. That'll do
Follow
it
on
for
TikTok,
episode
Instagram,
one.
stuff like that. Um,
Follow on TikTok. Lots of clips. Lots of clips. Yeah, lots of content coming. I'll also be in Vegas for the race, so keep an eye out on the socials for that. I'll have lots of content. Maybe trolling some certain fan bases. We'll see. We'll see. But anyways, that'll do it. Catch you guys next week. Peace.
so, no, it wasn't. Did it stop?